When Eloise travels to the 60s in her dreams, we wanted the film to feel a little different at that point, and there were a couple of things we did to achieve that. One was palette control, the actual colors that we're using within the scenes, within the costumes, within the set design. We wanted the 60s to explode in color. We wanted to feel like we're going from a muted color film into a technicolor film. Then at a later point in the movie, as fantasy and reality start to collide, the colors from the 60s start to invade the real world. Soho is an area that is more famous at night than it is in the day. At night, your main image of Soho, your takeaway from it, is neon lights. And so that's something that was key to create those lighting effects within the movie. One of the sort of signifiers of Eloise going back is that she has this neon sign outside her bedroom window for the French bistro that's next door, which, like the French flag, is going blue, white, red, blue, white, red. And you notice in the movie that whenever she goes into the 60s, it starts flashing red, 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 signaling that we're about to go back. And then it also is signaling where the past is invading the contemporary world. Really, the idea was that we wanted the people to be faceless. So it was like part of a recollection.
At the beginning, we had amazing artwork from Edgar's brother Oscar guiding us on the look, and Edgar had a number of different films and influences that he wanted to bring into them. He wanted to feel like this very real physical presence that was dangerous.
You know, is literally the stuff of nightmares.
When we got into shooting tests, we applied different shades of dark makeup to try to make the people actually physically look like shadows. We went and shot a second test on the stage, and this was the one where we could see it was on the right track. It was going to be scary. It was definitely creepy.
When I first started, we were doing a lot of weird, like, creature stuff, but then we realized actually that's kind of too far. And then we brought it back down to very, like, gestural stuff, just normal adjustments, but trying to, like, how creepy can you be with that? It's just a tie, but then how can you really take off a tie when you're trying to tell a threatening story? Then it was how Edgar could use the camera, how we could manipulate the timing of them appearing.
I discussed with Lizzie Giorgio, the head makeup designer, a way of having actors where we could actually blank out their features, that the actors had their eyes and mouths like covered up, but could still see and breathe. And I wanted to find a way to do it for real and actually have actors in makeup present on set.
We also wanted to employ some amount of practical prosthetics, a mask that would fit over the performers' faces, that would obscure their eyes and their mouth.
That was quick.
As time went on, I think we began relying on the prosthetics less and less, and just began relying on painting their faces dark to make them look shadowy, with the understanding that we were going to be blotting out the eyes and the mouth in post. We got into shooting multiple passes of our performers and then layering them together, so there was a sort of weaving and disorienting overlay of multiple features.
That whole sequence of him travelling towards the bed had to be really choreographed, and as we transferred to each man throughout the scene, they knew exactly what step they were on when they were pulling their tie off.
And I think those are my favourite shots in the movie, where you can kind of combine something that's actually there for the actors to interact with kind of some very clever digital effects to create the entire frame. There are a lot of mirror sequences in the movie, and a lot of them are done for real in the sense of it's happening in camera, and there isn't a reliance on green screen and motion control. We use some of those effects in places, but I think people would be shocked to discover how much of it is actually happening. For example, the very first mirror shot in the film is when Thomasin McKenzie descends the staircase into the Café de Paris and meets a maitre d', played by James Phelps. You can see James Phelps' reflection in a mirror. Then the maitre d' walks in front of Thomasin McKenzie. At that point, the mirror in the background is sliding away to reveal a double set, where Anya Taylor-Joy is standing exactly where Thomasin McKenzie's reflection should be. The maitre d' on the other set is Oliver Phelps, James's identical twin brother. Now you have 4 performers who are choreographed doing the same thing at the same time.
For the actresses, it was like a fun game for them. The real thing actually was trying not to do it like we knew it, but to still have that sensitivity towards each other. So it was choreographed, and then you wanted to bring it back to it being exploratory in a way.
Anya and Thomasin match their every move. They even tap their fingers on the glass, although in reality there is no glass, they're just tapping fingers. The finished effect is incredibly slick and very graceful, and it is a combination of the talents of production design, the choreography, the clever bits of digital effects in terms of making it look like there's glass where there is no glass. Also, it's the camera operator, who in this case was the amazing Chris Baines, who he called the human Moko. Because it wasn't a motion control shot, but he was our motion control. It's like he just had the muscle memory to remember how to do the shot over and over.
In the Café de Paris, it's surrounded by mirrors. You just have to really be on the ball with, I don't know what, all the different angles and eye lines. For me, it's been weird because I'm in the reflection. They have to film my reflection, which means that Anya can't be there. I can't be watching Anya, I have to watch myself in the mirror, which just makes me feel very vain, and it's really awkward because I'm just acting, staring at myself.
Sometimes we had to shoot her part separately, and in other places, like when Anya and Matt are talking for the first time and Thomasin is in the reflection, listening to what's being said, she's really there. And again, just the genius of all departments working together, like camera, digital effects, the real production design effects in terms of where there is part of a set that's missing so that Thomasin can be the other side, or a double set. There's a shot in the bedroom when Anya and Thomasin are looking in the vanity mirror at each other, and we had 2 bedrooms. So the one on the other side is flopped to go the other way, and everything has to be backwards.
I mean, the positioning and the structure of the mirrors are very specific to the action. And we did spend quite a lot of time trying to work out the best shape to accommodate a reflection at various different angles. And we used multiple techniques. Some of it is all practical, and some of it is without a mirror, and some of it is digital.
Look at me, Sandie, look at me, Sandie, look at me!
Cut! Last Night in Soho was shot by a cinematographer who I had never worked with before, but I was a huge fan of, Chung Chung-hoon. I loved his work with the Korean director Park Chan-wook. His work is so extraordinary, and he is such an extraordinary person. Aside from his talent behind the camera, what I wasn't expecting, given that he usually makes quite dark movies, is what a joker he is and how silly he can be. He is a real goofball. I think he would describe himself as that. On a film that's actually quite a tough shoot, I didn't realize how useful it would be to have somebody who would always be able to make me laugh. He's just one of those people who's so creative in ways that are always a little unexpected. I storyboard every scene in the movie, but sometimes Chung would come up with a new shot, and it would always be a really interesting shot that I had not thought of. One of my favorite shots in the movie is one that I did not storyboard, where, you know, when you're blocking out the scene, Chung sort of with his hand goes, maybe here? And I go, yeah. Another good example of the collaboration between the departments would be the first dance number in the 60s, which is a uninterrupted tracking shot in the Café de Paris where Matt Smith and Anya Taylor-Joy are dancing together. And then sometimes Thomasin McKenzie is dancing with Matt as well, and back and forth. For the most part, it's all an in-camera shot where our amazing camera operator Chris Baines is whirling around the performers. When you rehearse the dance, you have to rehearse it with the camera in mind at all times, because he has to be in the right place at the right time when a transition happens between one actress and the other.
It's like a whole choreography in front of the camera, but then behind camera was actually where the magic was created.
So that shot is all like really happening, which means that both Anya and Thomasin, when they're not on screen, are like running around the camera the other way to rejoin the shot. If you ever see the eyewitness camera up in the rafters, it's a pretty amazing thing to look at. Not just the dance itself that's in the camera, but the dance that's going on behind the camera. The actors are going around Matt Smith in their own little orbit. The Steadicam orbit is bigger still.
Your thoughts?
So it was an incredibly complicated shot to do, and we rehearsed it a lot because we knew it was going to be one of those shots that was going to be really good if we could pull it off.
Filming those sequences is so exhilarating because you're all dancing around each other. And Chris, our Steadicam operator, he's amazing because he's doing all of it with this massive camera on his back.
There is like a little digital part to it as well. There's a moment where Anya turns into Thomasin in just like, you know, like a flash. But again, we did it without green screen. It was where we used Chris Baines as the human Moko to just basically replicate that part of the shot only and put Thomasin into it. It was one of those moments where I was thinking, I hope this works. And it's a shot that's in the trailer, and I noticed quite a few people had made it into GIFs, and they were saying, what's happening here? Like, how is this done? Well, it's not a green screen shot, and it's not a motion control shot. All I can say is that our camera operator and our actors are incredibly precise.